how would you characterize that identity? And is it normal that it takes this long for an identity to kind of start to come together?
Well, I think our team, has had an identity from the get-go. I think on offense, you're starting to see it forge itself a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball, probably. But this team plays hard, plays physical. It's got great leadership, and on offense, I think that you're just seeing the combination of the run game and the ball on the perimeter. When you have all the weapons back, and now Kyle's got a bunch of games under his belt. Offensive line, is making progress every week. So I think all that comes into play.
Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Road.
Ryan, when you reevaluate the offensive line right now and watch what Donovan's doing, is he playing his best football right now? And where have you seen the most growth from him from last year as a starter to this year?
Yeah, I think so. He's created champion here the last couple of weeks. And, everyone's looking to play their best football now. But, it's the combination of the run game and pass game. You have to be able to do both. And, it's different when you have two new guys on both sides of you there. It's just the combination blocks, the communication, how you handle movement in the pass game, how you handle movement in the run game. So I think a little bit of it's that. A little bit of it's just, now he's into his next year of maturity. He's seen a lot more. And, we're going to need him to play really well down the stretch.
I think that contributed to the struggles of the offensive line early in the year, that you had two starters back, but both of them were surrounded by each side of them a new guy.
I don't know. I think there was probably a lot of things that along the journey that has taken us to where we are right now. But I know that anytime if somebody new next to you, there's an adjustment phase there. But I do think that they're more and more comfortable every single time they're out there. And now that we're into November, they've got a good body of work under their belt. So now we're expecting them to go play the best.
Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, you guys ran that split back set with Chip and Xavier in the backfield a decent amount on Saturday. Just what benefit does that give you? I mean, I guess obviously now you're healthier. It shows you play Chip and had Trey come off the bench there. But just how much of a benefit does it give you as a play caller to know you can do a little bit of both Chip and Xavier?
Yeah, those guys can do multiple things, and anytime you see that, it can bring a lot of different variables to the table. You look at the way that Cade's running routes and blocking and protection. Same thing with G. Scott. You're seeing our receivers get involved with the run game. You're seeing multiple receivers carry the ball. You saw Marvin carry the ball. You've seen X carry the ball. You've seen Emeka carry the ball. And you're seeing Trey line up as a receiver at times. I mean, all those things help you when you're trying to attack a defense when they can do multiple things.
Getting him in the backfield, because usually if he runs this route, you're going to have a linebacker on him. How much of a benefit is that, knowing his versatility, but you can have him in the backfield runner as well? Yeah,
no, he's a mismatch in a lot of different areas, and that's our job as coaches to put him in those situations and try to find creative ways to get those matchups. But ultimately, it comes down to blocking and taking care of the football and executing. But anytime we can put these guys in situations like that, that kind of like I think the one you're talking about is the throw down the sideline there, and kind of got set up after a couple of runs that way, and the guys put it on the field well, did a good job protecting it, and they did a nice job there. And if you watch the film, I think Marvin was double covered there, so that really opened up Xavier on the linebacker.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Just going back to when you first saw Kyle as a recruit, what about him did you like? What stood out from the get-go that made you want to offer him? Yeah,
you saw his productive play on the field. You saw his size, his arm strength, intelligence, and just had a good way of leadership with the players. The guys in his class, he was the first one to jump on board and then brought a lot of guys with him. Once he got in the building, he was with Marv and Emeka in here on the drawing board right away, learning the offense and getting involved, throwing with those guys, great work ethic. So all of those things, led to it.
He's 10 games into this season as a starter and coming off a game like he had last week. Is there anything that can help build confidence, just seeing the ball guys just go through the hoop in a game that he had on Saturday?
Yeah. I think every time you're out there, you gain more and more confidence because it's not new anymore, and then it slows down. So I think the last couple of games has started out finding the speed of the game really well. much more efficient early on, and that's led us to get, certainly in this last game, getting, good momentum. And then I thought it was great to get a 2-minute drive going, at the end of the first half.
Those traits that you saw in him as a recruit started to maybe show up more and more this year.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're starting to see that more and more. Yes.
Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Devin Brown got hurt during warm-ups. How's he coming along? Fluke injury, I know, right? But how's he coming along?
He's all right. Just a bit of a setback there in the warm-ups, but hoping to see he can get back on the field this week and survive warm-ups.
I guess the good news is, yeah, there you go. The good news, I guess, is Lincoln was able to get in there and get his feet wet. I know it was a very small sample size. What'd you see out of Lincoln?
Just in the couple snaps he was out there, it didn't look too big for him. I just thought he belonged. He's still trying to figure it all out. He got an earful for the first time on the field after one of the plays, which was good, and he had an answer. I liked it. He came right back with why he did what he did. But we'll see. It's just a start, but it was just good to see him out there getting some plays under his belt, and there was some good plays he had out there.
Dan Holt, 11 Warriors.
Ryan, I wanted to clarify on Lathan. Is he out for the season, or is there still a chance he could come back?
There's a chance he can come back, this year. But it doesn't look like it's going to be any time in the next couple of weeks.
And Mike Hall, he only played a couple series, then left the game. Was that injury related, and what's his status?
I don't really have an update on Mike right now.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, I know the last couple of games you've gotten production from other guys, but as Emeka has worked his way back, are you seeing what you need to see from him, or is he still, kind of recovering from that injury? The statistics haven't been what they were before he got.
He's getting stronger and stronger each week. We decided to hold him in the second half to continue that progress, but he's getting as closer every week to being 100. And the feedback I got this week was that he feels better this week than he did last week, and that's the goal. Look more explosive on film in this past game, and so we'll keep bringing him along. Everything that our folks say here is just keep pushing him, keep getting that thing stronger, keep working, and he's getting stronger every single week. So, hopefully we take another step this week, and we're as close as we can to 100%.
And as you go through that list of guys that have been contributing, Cade, Travion, obviously Marv, I assume he fits right in with that group when he can be his normal self? Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think Emeka is one of the best receivers in the entire country, and his production proves it. We are a different offense when he's in a game.
Bill Landis, the podcast.
Right, you guys gave Matthew Jones maybe a series or two at center the other day. What went into that decision? I don't think he's ever played center in a game before, so what did you want to get a look at there?
Yeah, I forget if he had or not. I don't remember, but I know we worked him at center at times, and we just felt like at that time it was good to get him some work at center and just get Enoch in the game and just see what that looked like in a game. We had a pretty comfortable lead at that point and felt like it was good to do, evaluated it, and then there was some good snaps there. So, it's always good to kind of, in an opportunity like that, go see, if we needed to make a change, what that would look like.
I guess along those lines, you said the offensive line continues to make progress. What is your evaluation of the center position, specifically with Carson? Because it seems like maybe his progression is a little farther behind the rest of that group.
I think he's the youngest, so he's probably made, from where he started to where he is now, he's made certainly a bunch of progress. But he's also the youngest, so he's in here every day. He's busting his tail to get better, and he's handled some difficult environments, so far this year as a redshirt freshman. So we think that he's got a very bright future ahead of him, and he's going to continue to get stronger and better. Across the board, his communication, all those things. So every time he's out there, it's an investment in his future.
The idea of playing Matt, is there any thought there that maybe you'd want to move to that look full time? Or are you comfortable with your normal starting five? Yeah,
right now we're going to continue to move forward as we have, but every week we're evaluating to see what gives us the best chance to win. So, but as of right now, we're going to continue to where we're at right now.
Ryan, with the idea that you need to be playing your best in November, is your offense doing that right now? And where are they in relation to what you envisioned before the season?
I think the first half you saw, some efficient play and finish drives, third downs, red zone. I thought there was some very well executed plays. I thought the reverse to Marvin was really well executed. I thought there was just a bunch of plays protection wise that gave Kyle some time. The timing, the throws were pretty high level. The second touchdown to Marvin the throw and catch was excellent. Travion stepped up in a big way and helped the protection. But he did a nice job on 2 or 3 of the plays. Actually, 2 of the touchdown passes to Marvin, he did a really nice job in protection. And that was the most excited guy on the field, which goes to show you his unselfishness and how he's getting better every game as an all-purpose player. But, I mean, I think you see what we're capable of. And it was good to see us play a full half right there and play and execute. And, again, finish with a 2-minute drive there. So all those things are encouraging at this point.
Caleb Spinner, Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated.
Coach, Saturday, obviously, game against Minnesota, another chance to remain undefeated, but it's also a chance to honor some of the players who won't be coming back next year. What have the seniors, fifth years, graduates all meant to you during your time here at Ohio State?
Well, a good portion of them, started when I that first year when I became the head coach, and so they've been just soldiers along the way, and mean so much to me and my family, to the staff, to the university. So I try to tell those guys all the time when we have home games, don't wait till the last one to take it all in. Starts from that first home game of your senior year. So I hope they've taken that advice, but when you have your last game there is a lot of emotions. So the good news is they got a team that's playing with confidence. There's leadership that they've shown, and they have an opportunity to really leave a legacy behind here over the next month. So, happy that they're going to get recognized in that moment, and they deserve it.
Far left, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
So a year ago, losing someone like Lathan, maybe at this stage of the season, would have seemed pretty devastating. Not that you guys won't miss him this year too, but there also seems to be a structure here where you can maybe absorb that a little bit better. And how much of what you kind of tasked Perry and Tim with doing this past offseason was getting this defensive back group to this point, and how you feel like they accomplished that?
I think you evaluate everything at the end of the season, but everybody's responsible to make sure that they have production at their position and then depth along the way. You can't go pick anybody up off of waivers in college football, so you have to build depth, and there's a bunch of different ways to do that. But a big part of it is development, and certainly we're going to miss Lathan, but our guys are confident, with the guys in the room, and so we're just going to forge forward and with the guys that we have, and challenge those guys to play at a high level.
Obviously, Sonny has done a lot of things, good things for you in that nickel position, playing close to the ball. Just as someone from an offensive standpoint of looking at him, how can he also still help you guys a lot at Bandit where Lathan is playing so good?
Yeah, he's got a lot of versatility and can do many things, but it's going to be important for the other guys to step up in those areas where where does he fit in, and you just have to feel good at all the other spots back there, and then Sonny can take on a lot of responsibility, but we also want to make sure that he's playing fast and doing a great job. So we don't want to overload him, but at the same time he can do a lot, and that's important for the guys around him to make sure that they're playing at championship level.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, Jelani Thurman had his first catches last weekend with Joby now, and he haven't missed the game. Just where's Jelani at as far as kind of his development, how he can help you down the stretch?
Well, we got to make sure that if he flashes a first down, he actually gets it. So that's the first coaching point for Jelani. And so I think Coach Bailey said, okay, that's enough of that, Jelani. Let's just catch the ball and hand the ball to the official. So that was the first coaching point. But it was great to see him out there. You can see his athleticism, size, power. You can see him, he's got really good hands. He's got a very bright future ahead of him. He understands that the tight end position is a developmental position, but he's put a year in now. So, he's going to get to the point where he's going to get on the field here real soon. And the talent is there. And if he continues on the same path that he's on, he's going to have a special career here at Ohio State.
And you said Tommy was week to week. How's he look for this week, and same with Josh Proctor?
Yeah, expecting to have a good week of practice for both of those guys. And, we'll have a better idea as we get towards the end.
Ryan, our senior day decisions binding in this era with all the extra COVID years and everything? We've seen, Josh participate in the past. Like, is that actually going to be the way it looks like, or if they make a decision to walk, they can still retain that option?
Yeah, they can. They can. If they're eligible, then we certainly allow them the option to do it, and then kind of go from there. Like you said, it's, I guess, a lot different than it was a decade ago.
How everything's complicated in your position, but in terms of managing roster numbers and decisions in this time of year, everybody's trying to weigh that. Like, how clear is the picture for you, or not? With what I know, you want to win on Saturday first and foremost, but
Right.
you always have to keep an eye on the future. How difficult is that for you right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of things in the balance, I would say, but maybe just try to plan ahead and make sure you have contingency plans in place, whether it's high school recruiting, whether it's, in the portal, those type of things. And so, I think the rules have made it such that you should be able to now adjust pretty quickly, based on some of the legislation that's been passed. So Mark's working hard to make sure we have everything planned and ready for that. But our focus, as you know, is right now in this game and preparing for Minnesota and continuing to build on the confidence that this team is playing with right now. But certainly there's a lot of folks working on that here in-house to make sure that when December comes, we're ready to roll.
And just for the record, folks, we'll put out a release later in the week, Friday, somewhere around there, of the guys that'll be walking on Saturday. Don Taberry, WBNS.
Coach, Marvin Harrison for Heisman, you think he's deserving, and what does he mean to this ball club?
I think I've said it before that the Heisman Trophy goes to the most outstanding player in the country. I know there's a lot of great players out there. I get to see him every day. I think he is the most outstanding player in the country. And he's, right from the jump, came in with a work ethic that, really is transcended throughout the whole team. Just what he's done and now his production as well. So, he wants to be great. I know that. You can just tell it, and his actions back that up. And, certainly his production speaks for itself on the field and what he's doing, and he makes everybody on that field better.
Coach, Saturday, Minnesota, obviously the number one goal is to win the game. But there's just 2 games to go in this season, the regular season. How important is it? What do you want to see out of your club, I guess, as far as just everything on point?
Well, just continuing to build on confidence. And, our second goal of the season, first goal was to win the first one, second goal was to win the next 10. So we have to complete that goal here on Saturday. And, we have to stay focused on that. And that's the bottom line. Have to play really hard, really fast, really physical like we did this past Saturday. And, PJ does a really good job. Minnesota is well coached. I really respect what PJ does as a coach and their program and their culture, and they're going to come in here and play really hard. So, we have to match that. And, it's a Big Ten road or Big Ten, game here in November. And, so we have to do a great job of preparing for it like any other game. Any other game. It has no bearing what's coming down the future. We got to be on point right now and continue to build on our future. And that's it. So starts with Tuesday today. We'll have a team meeting here at 2:30, and we get back to work.
Clay Hall, WSYX.
Do you like a rah-rah quarterback, very, I don't know, or prefer the composure of maybe a Kyle McCord? And do you try to pass it along, just given what they have to navigate in those few seconds between play to play?
Yeah, I think every quarterback has to, it's like being a golfer, you have to carry different clubs in your bag. And sometimes you have to have that composure. Sometimes you got to bark. Sometimes you got to put your arm around somebody. There's always different parts of the game that you have to be able to utilize, the right skill set. And to say, well, I lead this way, well, that's a cop-out. You have to be able to, handle situations and people differently. But at the same time, you have to be yourself. You can't be someone else. And I think that's what we communicate to our players in terms of their leadership.
Adam King, WBNS.
You said in Skull Session on Saturday, it's been a long road back to November, and you talked about stars in the past. Obviously, the goal is to win, the first game in the next 10 and then beat that team. I'm curious, how much are you guys talking about right now that you are here? This is everything you've worked for since you walked off the field at the Beach Bowl.
Yeah, no, we talk about it. We have the last, since we entered in November, we know that we wanted to be playing our best football in November, and you can get through this, go through the season where the days seem long, but the weeks go by real fast, and then here you are at the end of the season, and so urgency has to be at an all-time high. We know we got to be on point, and we got to be playing our best right now, and I think the guys feel that, they understand that, and so we got to be better than everybody else in the country of just focusing on maximizing ourselves, doing a great job preparing for Minnesota, and ignoring everything else that comes around what this time of year is like.
Doug Maurice, Kings of the North.
You talk about wanting to play your best football in November a lot. Have you felt like in your time here that Ohio State has done that you've been at your best in November? And was there anything, I don't know, that you thought about this past offseason to say, hey, we really want to make sure that we're, ascending at the end of this? Did you change anything that you feel like is coming to fruition now?
I feel like we have, but I also feel every year you just your messaging and you evaluate things just how you want to messaging it to the team. That it is a build as the season goes on, and I think the guys can feel that. It's been clearly communicated that way, that we've got to build every week, and that momentum, and it kind of snowballs over time. The consistency of everything that you're doing on a daily basis, so that we're at our best at the end of the season. And so it's just been a messaging point to the team, something that we can tangibly like almost grab onto, that hey, we're getting better every week, and we know we got to be at our best at the end of the season, because that's when it matters the most.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
You were asked, Bill asked you about Carson Hinsman. Josh Simmons has actually been here less time. Obviously, he's played at San Diego State last year. It seems like he's developing some, progressing some. I want to get your assessment of where he is right now.
Yeah, no, he's certainly is progressing. You can see the talent. When some unbelievable clips, just feet, power, hands. It's all there, and so it's every week it's coming together a little bit more for him. And same thing, just like a quarterback, it starts to slow down. All the different things that go on, and so he can be as good as he wants to be.
How much do you want to get to 7 o'clock on Saturday? And what will that be like?
I think, the first thing is, when you start to get ahead of yourselves, you lose focus on right now. And I think that's the challenge, is making sure you stay in the moment, because there's nothing you can do other than maximize right now. And that's what we're going to do. And when 7 o'clock comes on Saturday, 7 o'clock will come, and we'll go from there.
Ryan, after the game, you mentioned Calvin Simpson was a guy who flashed you. And watching back the tape, what other players flashed you maybe in that second?
I thought Jermaine Matthews, again, got his hand on the ball, ran down on special teams, did a good job there. It was good to see Jelani make that catch. It was good to see Lincoln, handle himself well. Trying to think of who else. Malik Harford. For his first start, I thought, did some really good things, graded out a champion. That was great. I'd say those are probably the guys that stick out right offhand.
And then when you guys talk about stealing possessions, can that be on third down defense too? And do you feel like that's going to help this offense hit its stride recently?
Yeah, I think when you're playing complementary football, and you're getting off the field, and the offense is getting down and finishing drives. Yeah, that's when you're working at full capacity, and third down is a huge part of the game. And when you're getting off the field and forcing punts and giving the offense good field position, that's the difference between winning and losing.
Jeremy Birmingham, the podcast.
Right. Philosophically, you guys are a month away from signing the early signing period. There's a ton of things going on around the program, game week preparation, all that. How hard is it as a staff to keep on top of every little blip on the recruiting trail when kids, random tweets and all kids taking visits elsewhere? Like, how much conversation are you guys having about it? How do you handle it as a staff with those players, their families, et cetera?
Yeah, just communication is the key, and that's the other thing is this time of year and all year you have to communicate, even though you're in the teeth of the season. It's important that you win. That's huge, but you also have to be communicating and making sure that you're on top of all the recruiting part of it, because what I've learned is, you know, in November and then as you get into December, as you get closer to the signing period, there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. And so you just have to be steady, but obviously constant and really, really good in communication.
With this past Saturday, was there any thought to getting Lincoln in the game earlier? If Devin was ready to go, would he have been in earlier? Because it seemed like he took out a lot of the weapons at the 10-minute mark of the third quarter, but left Kyle on the starting offensive line out there. Was that just because the backup quarterback situation was different on Saturday, or was there any thought about putting Lincoln out there at that point?
Yeah, probably. You don't know what you're going to get till you go out there, and it was probably midway through the third quarter. I felt like there was a lot of football left. You know, at that point, we hadn't had Lincoln in the game, so we didn't know what that was going to look like. So we decided to probably hang on a little bit longer, and then we started that drive. And then after we got a couple first downs, decided it was the right time to put Lincoln in the game. If Devin was available, he probably would have been in the game a little bit sooner.
The conversation you had with him where you got the earful of the third down pass, where
Yes.
Yes. And we'll wrap things up with Tim May on 3 and then the Tim May podcast.
Thank you, Jerry. Are you guys North America's team? Are y'all Buckeye Nation's team? Are y'all Ohio's team? Whose team are y'all?
It's a good question. I think I can tell you this, that you know, our guys, and I think someone said it before about just, you know, it's been a long road to get to November, and each team has its own identity. Each team has its own dynamics, has its own journey, and so here we are, you know, in November, and I can tell you this, coming to work every day with these guys, I mean, the consistency, the maturity, the competitiveness, the look in their eye. I mean, this is a great team to be around. Great guys, and you know, I go back to this. It's about these guys on the team. It's about the guys that put on the line every single Saturday, you know, on the game and put the work in here, and so you know, we're going to do it again this week and keep swinging.
Like Saturday, did you feel like you know, like you go in a restaurant sometimes, there are all these things on the menu, but you can't go there because you don't have that, they don't have that in stock right now. Did you feel like you were looking at as close to a full menu? We asked you a little bit about this after the game, but what is that like for you to have those options available to you? Do you have to control yourself of, let's focus on this, let's get the two-back look in there? You know what I mean? How do you approach those kind of things, right?
Well, I think the first thing is you have to make sure you're doing what's best for the team to win the game. That's got to be the first thing, and that has to be the focus, because like you said, sometimes you can get yourself spread real thin and out of whack and out of rhythm. So you have to find that rhythm, and then you try to find different ways that can put the defense in stress. You heard me say that before, and then set things up along the way by putting guys in position to be successful and identifying what guys do really well, and that's really what it comes down to. But at the same time, not sacrificing, you know, the team. Like even at the end of the first half there, you know, it was 3rd and 7, and you know, we threw a bubble screen to Marv, and if we don't get that, we punt, but we got it, and then it was like, okay, we're going to shift this thing into the next gear and go, and we weren't down scored, because at that point I think it was 28-3. Would have been a good halftime score, and then come out in the second half and play. But so you always have to make sure that you're being aggressive, you're attacking, but you're going to do what's best for the team first.
And listen, at this point in the year, 10-0, what is keeping you up at night? I don't even know if you sleep much at night. Maybe you do, but is it players' injuries? Is it bringing guys online? Are they up to it? Is it a guy not coming off a double team when you could have popped Travion there? You know, coming off the goal line on that one play. You know, you understand what I'm saying? These little mistakes, whatever. Is it the fact that coaching jobs are coming open around the country right now? You know, you've got a staff that people would probably like to tap. You know, what is it? All of that? I mean, and are you getting much sleep at this point?
Well, you know, it's like they say, you know, when some people rest, you know, you stay restless, and I think that's it. You know, you got to continue to work at all of these things because there's so many things going on, and that's our job. Is just to, you know, constantly do everything you can to maximize what you have, and communicate really well, and get the issues fixed that need to get addressed, and that's it. And that's it. And then when it's time to go play, we get on the field. But you know, each week has its new set of challenges. Every year has its new set of issues, and you just deal with them the best you possibly can, and bust your tail. So you know, by the time you get to Friday night and you get to bed before the game, I mean, yeah, you're exhausted because you know you've just burned the midnight oil, making sure that you do everything you possibly can to win the game.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.